Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be taking a deep dive into the world of breast cancer.
Ooh, this is an important one.
Yeah, it really is. And we're going to be looking at it through the lens of this podcast we found called Breaking Down Breast Cancer. A survivor and oncologist share their perspectives.
Sounds fascinating, getting both the medical and the personal perspective.
Exactly. So to start off, the oncologist on the podcast, Dr. Oncologist's name, kind of lays the groundwork
Okay.
by explaining that essentially breast cancer is cells in the breast that are growing out of control.
Right, makes sense.
But it's not quite as simple as that.
Yeah, breast cancer, I mean, it's not just one disease, right? You've got all these different subtypes. Like you've got hormone receptor positive, you've got HER2 positive, and then you've got triple negative.
Wow, so many.
And it's really important to know like what type you're dealing with because the treatment is tailored to each specific type.
Oh, so it's not like a one treatment fits all.
Yeah, definitely not. Like, for example, someone with hormone receptor positive breast cancer might benefit from hormone therapy,
Okay.
but that wouldn't be effective for someone with triple negative breast cancer.
So it's kind of like different keys for different doors.
Yeah, you got it. And that's why like getting an accurate diagnosis is absolutely crucial because it helps guide those treatment decisions.
And ultimately really affects how well the treatment is going to work.
Exactly.
Now, one thing that both the oncologist and the survivor's name, both really emphasized was how important early detection is.
Oh, for sure. Early detection is key.
And they were talking about mammograms and self-exams.
Absolutely. Those are so important.
Yeah, and actually survivor's name found her breast cancer through a self-exam.
Wow.
Yeah, she felt a lump, and thankfully, she decided to get it checked out,
Good for her.
even though she initially was like, it's probably nothing,
Yeah, I think a lot of people do that.
don't they?
Yeah, I think they kind of like hesitate.
It's
It is scary. Dr. Oncologist's name actually talks about that in the podcast. He acknowledges that there are people out there who are hesitant to get screened
Yeah.
for all sorts of reasons. You know, they might be afraid, they might be uncomfortable, or maybe they're just putting it off.
right.
But he really stresses that the earlier you catch it, the better your chances are.
Of successful treatment.
Exactly. It often means less aggressive treatment and a better outcome overall.
So it's like catching a small crack in a bridge before it becomes like a massive structural issue.
That's a great analogy.
You address it early and you prevent a much bigger problem down the road.
Absolutely. It's all about being proactive.
Yeah, being proactive about your health.
Exactly.
So let's talk about survivor's name's journey.
Okay.
She described receiving that diagnosis as just an incredibly shocking and overwhelming experience.
I can imagine, I mean, getting that diagnosis is,
Life-changing.
yeah, life-changing, scary. It can just feel like your whole world's been turned upside down.
Yeah, I bet it's a feeling of fear and uncertainty that, unfortunately, so many people facing a cancer diagnosis can relate to.
Definitely, it's a very common experience.
It really is.
Yeah.
So from there, she walks us through her treatment journey.
Okay.
And for her, that included chemotherapy, a lumpectomy, and then radiation therapy.
Right. That's kind of a pretty, standard course of treatment for a lot of breast cancer patients.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to remember, like, everyone's experience is going to be a little different.
Oh, for sure.
There's really no one-size-fits-all.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, and, the podcast does a really good job of highlighting that it's not just the physical stuff you got to deal with.
Right, the emotional and mental strain of it all.
Exactly. Survivor's name talks about how exhausted she was.
Oh, I bet.
Like, physically and emotionally, just throughout that whole treatment process.
Yeah?
And she talks about how important her support system was.
Oh, I bet.
Leaning on other survivors,
That was-
advocacy groups, that kind of thing.
It's amazing, though, how much, shared experiences can really create that sense of community.
Oh, absolutely.
And support, even when you're dealing with something as difficult as a cancer diagnosis.
It really is a testament to the human spirit.
It is. It is.
And speaking of hope,
Ooh, yes.
the podcast kind of shifts gears
Okay.
and starts talking about advancements in breast cancer treatment.
And this is where things start to get really interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
So Dr. Oncologist's name dives into some really amazing breakthroughs like targeted therapies and immunotherapy.
Oh, those are so exciting.
Can you kind of break those down for us a little bit?
Sure. So targeted therapies, basically they aim to hit the cancer cells directly,
Okay.
but leave the healthy cells mostly unharmed.
Got it.
They work by honing in on specific molecules or pathways that are essential for the cancer cells to grow.
Oh, I see.
So this targeted approach tends to be a lot more effective and has fewer side effects than traditional chemo.
Okay.
Chemo affects both cancerous and healthy cells.
Right. So it's kind of like a guided missile versus a carpet bomb? Oh, that's a great way to put it.
Yeah, much more precise.
Much more precise.
Exactly. And then there's immunotherapy,
Okay.
which is really revolutionary.
What is that?
Well, basically, it uses your body's own immune system
What?
to fight the cancer.
That's amazing. How does that work?
So it either boosts the immune system, so it attacks those cancer cells directly,
Okay.
or it gets rid of like the things that prevent the immune system from recognizing and destroying the cancer cells in the first place.
So it's kind of like training your body's defenses to become like super-powered cancer fighters.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it.
Wow, that's amazing.
And the research in these areas is constantly evolving.
Oh, good.
So we're seeing more and more personalized treatment options
That's incredible.
that are tailored to your specific type of breast cancer and even like your unique genetic makeup.
So it's really moving away from that one-size-fits-all approach to something much more personalized.
Precisely.
That's really incredible.
Yeah, and this means that treatment is becoming even more effective.
That's great.
So you're seeing improved survival rates
Okay.
and just better quality of life for patients, both during and after treatment.
Makes sense.
And fewer side effects mean that patients can kind of maintain a better sense of normalcy throughout their cancer journey.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah.
Wow, these advancements really do offer so much hope for the future.
Absolutely.
Now, towards the end of the podcast, they asked survivor's name,
Uh-huh.
For her advice to someone who might have just been diagnosed.
Right.
What did she say?
Well, her message was super powerful.
Okay.
And it really just echoed those themes of hope and resilience that we've been talking about. She said, take things one day at a time.
Good advice.
Surround yourself with a strong support system.
Yeah.
Won't hesitate to ask questions.
Yes.
And advocate for what you need.
That's so important.
It is to feel empowered to ask questions and seek out the information and support you need.
Yeah.
To kind of navigate this whole journey.
It's not easy.
It's not. And she also talked about, the power of the breast cancer community.
Right.
Finding others who understand what you're going through.
Yeah, that makes a huge difference.
It can.
It can.
In coping with both the emotional and practical challenges.
It can.
Yeah, definitely.
So kind of the key takeaways here are community, self-advocacy, and knowledge.
Yeah, I think that's a great summary.
Now, what really stood out to you from all of this information?
I think for me, it was that shift towards what they call precision medicine in cancer treatment.
Oh, interesting.
We're really moving away from those broad spectrum treatments.
Okay.
And focusing more on therapies that are designed to target the very specific characteristics of each person's cancer.
Wow, that makes a huge difference.
It does. It's a game changer
Right.
because it allows us to treat the cancer much more effectively while minimizing the impact on the healthy tissues.
Oh, wow.
It's like having a personalized roadmap
Ooh, I like that.
for each patient's treatment journey.
The roadmap.
Yeah, guiding us towards the best possible outcome.
That is a powerful image.
It is. It highlights how far we've come in understanding and treating this disease.
Yeah, it really does.
And while there's still a lot to learn and a lot more work to be done,
Sure.
these advancements offer incredible hope for the future of breast cancer treatment.
It really is remarkable to see all the progress that's being made. But for someone listening, who maybe feels a little overwhelmed by all this information,
Yeah.
what's like the one key thing they should take away from our deep dive today?
I think the most important takeaway is that knowledge is power, especially when it comes to breast cancer.
Okay.
The more you know,
Yeah.
the better you'll be able to navigate the whole experience.
Yeah.
And, there are so many resources out there.
There are.
So much information and support.
So it's about empowering yourself with that knowledge and finding that community.
Exactly. And remember,
Yeah.
early detection can really save lives.
It can.
And the advancements in treatment offers more hope than ever before.
That's so true.
So whether you're personally affected by breast cancer or you just want to be more informed, understanding this disease is a powerful step
Yeah.
towards better health for yourself or a loved one.
Well said. Well said. Well, thanks for joining me on this deep dive today. Until next time, stay curious and keep learning.